fully, okay, if you are a horse person, you will fully understand how ridiculous this is. If you drive a horse carriage, if you've ever driven a horse carriage in a city especially, if you are not a horse person and you're just a normal, sensible, logical person, you will not believe what Republican mayoral candidate Curtis Sliwa just said about New York City carriage horses. Now, I'm going to play you the clip. As usual, I'm going to have to pause and interrupt. But he has this talk show radio that he has been doing with his animal rights extremist wife in the name of animal rights, not animal welfare, like they want you to believe. Huge difference. And this is why, like, he is so insane and he's gone so crazy, because of this insane wife he has that hoards cats. They had like 17 cats in an apartment. These people are nuts. This is a reason alone why he would be a very terrible mayor for New York City and why this crazy person cannot be voted in. Okay, so let's start with the clip. You're going to see this. Well, listen.
I have a theory
Okay.
as to why all of a sudden there are breakaway horses.
Okay.
The horses have never changed. They use the same kind of horses. These are not thoroughbred horses. These are not quarter horses. These are basically horses whose only role is to carry around these carriages. Normally they'd be frolicking in a field with one another.
All right, so this part is just stupid, but it's not the insane part yet. We're getting to that. First of all, he's referencing some horses who the bridle had come off and they went without a driver, and then they were caught. And I've done a video on that, so I will put the link in the comments and you can hear about what happened there. But again, that's something that was, extremely rare. The last time it happened was 2014, and we're in 2025 now. So the next part he says is that they are not thoroughbreds. Yes, thoroughbreds are typically a horse you would see on a racetrack. That's what that horse breed was bred for. That's what they were designed to do. Yes, they are not quarter horses, who would be, a horse for reining and cutting, or, whatever, ranch stuff or something like that. Each horse has a breed that it is structured best, that they do, that type of work and everything. So he goes on to say these are horses that are just supposed to pull carriages. Yes, they are. They are draft horses, draft crosses, or standardbred crosses. That is what that breed does. That is what that breed is built for. That is what is best, the best kind of work you can give that breed of a horse. So that's just kind of a silly statement. And then the fact that he says that they're horses that should be frolicking. Okay, draft horses never existed in the wild. No, these are not horses that would just stand around and be a pasture pet. These are horses that very much do need to work. These are horses that have come from a pulling background. And no horse just frolics. I mean, that's the most animal rights, detached from reality of horses statement you can possibly make. The Disneyfication, the fact that a horse would be frolicking. Not even just running around, frolicking. Horses don't frolic. And if you've seen a horse in a pasture, you'll know they might run around once in a while for a bit when they're fighting with another horse or something like that. Throw a little buck, that's it. Then they just stand and eat and stand and walk and eat, and that's it. That's what horses do. So this is kind of ridiculous. And yes, our horses do go on pastures, they vacation. So that's just kind of a stupid thing he said. But let's go on to the next part. We're not getting up to the crazy part yet, but the next part here. Okay, let's keep on.
You can see their heads are down, they're very sullen, they're very sad. And they're very, if I were looking at them as somebody who potentially might want to have my whole family take a horse carriage ride through Central Park, like Sex in the City, remember they used to have those scenes. I'd look at these horses so sullen, so sad, I probably might say, doesn't look like a good horse day to us. Why don't we keep walking around the city?
All right, so I have done videos on horse body language. I will put a link to that in the comments on here again. Again, this is just more stupidity. So basically, you have someone who does not understand horse body language. who does not understand horse expressions, who is misreading a calm, relaxed, content, at ease with their surroundings horse with a sad or tired or overworked or depressed or, sullen horse. Because horse's body language, horse's expressions are very different from a cat, from a dog, from a human, from whatever. And to misread them and project these feelings onto them is really not fair to them. And that's not what most educated about horses people see when they see these horses. We want to see the lowered head. We want to see that on a horse. Are you really giving us the, oh, poor horse, got the long face, kind of thing here? Is that really, someone that you want to make a decision about a horse's life? Someone who does not understand that's what a happy horse looks like. You do not want their head high up in the air, all excited, because that means that horse is stressed. That horse is alert and ready to take off because they are, not calm. They are not relaxed. They are looking at something else. Their interest is not where it should be. They should be napping when nothing is going on, and they are relaxed. That is normal for a horse. They sleep standing up. They take naps. They cock their hind leg to relax. That is what we like to see in a horse. That is what you look for in a horse that is comfortable. You do not want the opposite of that. All right, let's keep going.
I believe that the drivers, although I don't have any evidence, but I believe having seen this done in horse racetracks, it's called a shocker device. In order to make the horse go faster, move faster, they will sometimes shock the horse. Now, the jockey will do that. So I believe that you have these horse carriage drivers who maybe understand that if the horse appears to be lively, their heads are rubbing, wow, it attracts people, as opposed to the horse looking like it's ready to pass out and collapse. And I believe probably the reason that they're bucking the driver out and just racing down Central Park is that the drivers are shocking them. They have devices like that. Jockeys have been caught at the racetrack doing that in the backstretch when the groomers and the hot walkers do that. It's barbaric.
I cannot believe I have to say no horse carriage driver in New York City does that, has ever done that, would want a horse excitedly running and what? Okay, so now we just know this guy has absolutely no logic. Absolutely nuts. This guy cannot be the mayor of New York City. This is insane. Racetrack people, I don't know very much about your industry. Is this a thing you're doing? If it is not a thing we are doing. I can tell you that. I just explained you do not want a horse excited like that. We do not want our horses going fast. We are doing a slow, leisurely tour through the park. So how are people going to see? We are not running from point A to point B. Oh my God. And also, no horse bucked a driver off. If a horse bucks, we are sitting in the driver's seat. That is not going to throw a driver off a carrot. Oh my God. The horses that had their bridle come off were on the carriage stand. They were not being driven. They didn't, ditch the driver. This is just okay, this is all the proof you need to know. Do not vote for this person for mayor. This person is crazy. This person believes crazy things, has made such crazy slanderous remarks, which he has said he has absolutely no evidence for. This is the kind of thing that is behind people pushing to ban carriage horses here. No logic, no sensibility, no education about horses, making complete crazy accusations about the industry and trying to push this because they really just have no reason to. No logic.